We're back.
Welcome back to another episode of Fire the Cannon. I'm Rocky.
And I'm Megan, and we are Fire the Cannon.
Welcome back, Megan. We have a very special guest tonight. So excited.
We do.
The last time our sweet friend joined us, we got so much great compliments, so much great feedback on our conversation with him. It is Ruben Pizarro. Everyone knows him as Longhorns in Español. He gives all the great nicknames and all the great things that people love to follow. The commentary. Texas Football likes to put out great clips of his audio. So he'll join us in just a couple minutes. We're really excited. Megan, how you doing?
Doing good. I think I'm finally done licking my wounds after the weekend, ready to be reasonable about our takes, ready to really look at it, give a quick...
I guess it's a good thing we don't go live on Saturday afternoon.
Probably. We'd probably say some things we regret, that's for sure. So how are you doing, Rocky? You holding up?
Good. Powerball is tonight. I know it's $1.4 billion, $1.4 billion. So if you need a few hundred million laying around, go buy your tickets. You're more likely to get struck by lightning 12 times, I think, or something like that. But it's my birthday month now that it's September. It's my birthday month. So I love my birthday month because I should go ahead and get that for my birthday. Oh, I could use that for my birthday. So it's my birthday
excuse for everything, right?
Good excuse. All right. So tonight, Megan, we have a big show. Of course, we're going to wrap up the thoughts on Texas at Ohio State. It was a crazy first weekend of college football. Lots to talk about there. We'll look ahead at San Jose State coming to Austin as big underdogs, 5 touchdown underdogs coming into Austin. What do we need Texas to do there? What do we want to see? Things happening around the 40 acres. There's lots of fun news. And of course, we always have great top sports stories and we give our little opinions on those. But Megan, let's welcome our special guest. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
All right. Welcome. Ruben Pizarro. Welcome. Bienvenidos, Ruben.
Thank you for having me here, Rocky. And it's a great moment, Megan. You guys rock, and you fire the cannon. And there's only the best thing is that it's a women's show. That's great.
Yes,
absolutely.
We have fun. We give a different take, right? We have a lot of fun. So, Ruben, you were also at Ohio State this weekend. We'll chat about that too. But why don't we just first introduce yourself? There might be people who aren't familiar. I know if they follow the Texas Football account, they've heard your voice, right? So tell some people a little about you and how you got to Texas football and what you're doing for Texas right now, with Texas right now.
Thank you. My full name is Ruben Pizarro Silva, original from Chihuahua, Mexico, came from Monterrey. I played American football at age 15 in the intramural tournament in the university, and played for 10 years, and 5 of them national level is kind of a 3A in Mexico, strong safety and monster of rubber in the defense. And also I went to school for medical school. I did general practitioner, and I have a specialty in rehabilitation and sports medicine. And the media is the one that brought me here. We started doing Longhorns, the broadcast in Spanish since 1995.
30 years now.
We are going to the 31st now.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about what your role is in the media and, something that people might not know about what you're doing behind the scenes with Texas athletics.
Thank you. Learfield is our boss, and we serve the football only, and there are plans for other sports as well, like soccer or maybe volleyball, things like that. They are still checking on it. And I created the show, the broadcast, since I was in Monterrey. I worked there for 6 years in TV and radio, and I was in charge of doing the production of live games and TV and radio and broadcasting NFL games. And that helped me to teach my friends or my coworkers and how to do the broadcast, the producer, the color commentator, and the play-by-play, and we have had a good rotation of talents around in our broadcast. And luckily, with the years, we got into the internet, so people can listen to us in Spain and New Zealand and Peru and Argentina, everywhere. They can listen to us.
Wow. So
Yes.
you're world famous now.
Thank you. Well, we can say it like that. Yeah.
Okay.
It,
So,
it
go
was,
ahead.
it was- Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say this weekend you were at Ohio State. What was that
Yeah.
like being at the booth? I know you posted some photos. What was that like being up at the booth in the shoe and up in Columbus?
Yeah, we were there in 2005, and it actually was the same place. It was a photo deck surrounded by cameras, in a little space. I will say maybe no more than 4.5 feet for the three of us, and surrounded by cameras and the students' radio next to us. But it was fine. It was fine. The only thing is that wouldn't have the restroom on the floor like in a regular booth should be, but that was not a problem with the administer well taking fluids and not to take many trips downstairs or upstairs. It was really good. It was really good. It was right. It was right there on the yard 40. Well, it is because we were kind of on the rooftop of the stadium, but it's far different when we are in the cotton boulder. We have the snipers next to us and the sound of the light towers next to us. It was a good setup.
Snipers next to you?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Well, the first time we went to the Cotton Ball, there was no roof on the top of us, and it was there was that phenomenon that they call frozen or freezing drizzle. So we were
Miserable.
covering the equipment with tarps and black trash bags on the top of us, and making notes underneath another trash bag, and that's the way it is. I mean, it's and people shouldn't note that we are really struggling with temperature, with the elements there. Like Kansas, we've been in Kansas at a temperature
Oof.
25 degrees, winds of 15 to 20 miles, and out there under the elements for 5 hours broadcasting. That's what we do. That's what we do.
That's brutal.
That is brutal. And again, truly to bring the energy that you bring every game while you're freezing up there or while you're, out in the elements. That's so impressive, because I never would have guessed that, right? Like listening to you guys just, really, you're so enthusiastic,
Well,
and you've got, everybody loves to hear your calls. I never would have
thank you. Well,
imagined that you're out there bundled up and wrapped up, hiding away from everything.
well, those videos, the people that you watch on Instagram from Texas football, people gotta know it looks kind of so much intense because it's radio. It's different from TV. If it is TV, it will say, "Oh, it's going for a pass, 25 yards, complete." But in the theater of the mind for the radio, you got to recreate segments of the play, and seems like it's too much, but it's the excitement of the radio, and we love that because we the Latinos are spicy kind of thing.
All right, we have a couple of comments we want to get to. Some people have left some good notes. First, we have to say our buddy CB says, Ruben, ¿cómo está? Hola, ladies. Everybody knows Chris Bennett. He loves to support all the shows. Miracle Martinez is giving you a hook 'em. We have Longhorn Football Edits. I love listening to your broadcast. Don't know what you're saying, but I love it. And then we have a question. If you have questions for Ruben throughout the show, please post them on the YouTube. You can post questions. So Ruben, we know you're famous for giving the nicknames. You and the crew are famous for the nicknames. Does Arch have a nickname yet?
Yes, El Muchacho Maravilla. But I don't know if he's going to accept that because
Marvelous boy.
the marvelous boy. Marvelous boy. But we always check with them, hey, we are telling you this type of nickname, so we are sure that we are not hurting their feelings or anything like that, or degrading their personality. But it's the marvelous boy.
I love
All
it.
right. Remind us some of the key players right now and some of the nicknames you have for them, because we'll be hearing them in the broadcast.
Okay. Well, we have, for example, in the defense, we have Anthony Hill, El Fiscal. It's the prosecutor. He penalizes whoever gets close to him. And for example, oh my gosh, from Queen Ewers. Queen Ewers was the jewel, La Joya, the jewel, La Joya.
I love it.
Yeah. Jade Barron, El Forajido, the outlaw.
Yeah.
The outlaw.
They have to live for these. Does Michael Taft have one? Does Mookie have one? Michael Taft?
Well, no, I have for Weisner, and I asked him, "You want to have a nickname?" And he said, "El Cinco," the 5 that he uses.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good, especially since we know Quintravian Weisner moved his number to his jersey to 5, and he talks about his family being the Weisner 5, his parents and siblings. So that's pretty cool. He's now El Cinco, and the 5. That's anybody else got some new names? Because there's some little couple superstars rising this year. What about like Wingo or Colin Simmons?
Yeah, Jerry Gibson, the runner.
Jerry Gibson. Mm-hmm.
The time bomb. It can explode at any time. Let me see. Yeah, Arch is Michael Taft.
Yeah.
Right.
El Duro. The tough one, the hard one.
Yeah. Nice. He is tough.
Yeah.
Those are great names. How do y'all do they just come to you when you're watching them play and then you them?
That's a very good question, because sometimes I say, "Oh, Ruben is always giving those nicknames." No, we do it by consensus. We do it by how the personality look, because we have the chance to go on Mondays to the press conferences, and how they play, and the type of personality they have. So we gotta combine. I can come up with one, but my other my color commentator can come with another one. And we vote. We do a consensus and take that name, and then check with the player. And if they are okay, they are okay. So everything's under the rules.
Right.
I dig it.
Richard says hello to you, Ruben.
Oh, Richard Osborne. Oh, my good friend. I started my career in media doing a rugby broadcast of Japan against England. I think that was in '87, somewhere around there. And when I met Richard, so I got involved again in rugby. And congratulations for your daughter that is doing great in that sport.
She's doing great. She's in a boot right now because she has. It's only funny because it's not funny to be injured. It's funny because she has bone spurs. Like, bone spurs are a real thing. So we've been teasing her because she has bone spurs.
Well, it's part of the business, having a booth, or the next week maybe a brace or something,
Yeah, she has to walk in a big old boot for 2 weeks, and then hopefully she doesn't have all that pain. But anyway, but it's not funny to be injured, but she thinks it's hilarious. Yes. Anyway, so CB remembers you had Pistolas for Colt McCoy, El Capitan America. Those are great names.
Yeah, but the Colt was the most famous because even the media in English used to call him Pistolas.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I can find him one day and say, "Hey, I'm the one who called you."
Yeah,
you started the trend.
Yes.
I love it.
Well, let's dive into
Ruben,
it. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Megan. Go.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ruben, I wanted to ask you. So you mentioned you had been at Ohio State in '05. There was a lot of anticipation about this, about the atmosphere. A lot of people watched. It was 18 million people tuned in for the Texas Ohio State game. It was the highest first, week one game, highest watch week one game ever since they've been recording that. So pretty big deal. A lot of people tuned in, and I wanted to ask you. You were there in '05. You were there last weekend. Did you feel that the shoe felt the same? Did it have the same kind of buzz in '05 as it did this past weekend? Or did you have a similar experience?
I will say the first time we went, they were kind of spicy to us because they have not lost a game in 53 nights, I guess, at the time, and we came out victorious, and they were a little spicy with that, not aggressive, but they were resisting the idea that they lost. So, but this time, what I noticed, it was more everybody being loud. Everybody being loud. They were very respectful, the fans, but louder than the first time. That was the detail, especially when the Longhorns offense was on the field.
Yeah, no, it was definitely loud in the shoe for sure. It was a crazy environment, but I have to agree. I had a little bit of trepidation. We all have heard the stories from '05, and I thought, Rocky, did you agree? Like, I thought this trip around, they were certainly more cordial. Of course, you run into a few jerks here and there, but whatever. That's not the experience for the most part.
Yeah,
I thought the fans were pretty good this time. They were.
Yes.
I mean,
they were. I have to say, they were great to us. Like,
yeah,
I know we were talking last week about, we're going to need bail money and I'm not going to jail for nobody and all that stuff. And, stay together and blah, blah, blah. Let's start with saying we were on the north side of the stadium, coming in from the northeast, west, whatever we came from. We were the opposite end of where the students all were and came in from. So we were not like on frat row or anything like that, or we weren't downtown in the most egregious, violent areas of the student body. So that helps a lot. We hung out in more Texas crowds and more, grown-up spaces away from the craziness, but still around the stadium, most of the comments were, your outfits were so cute, or can I take pictures, or I love that y'all traveled, and lots of people just complimenting and happy that we were there. And I don't know if it was partially because they didn't, that they weren't feeling so super confident about their team that day, or their new quarterback, and here comes Arch Manning and all the hype and all the things, and we'll dive into that, break down the good, the bad, and the ugly on the game. But as far as the environment, I thought they were great to us overall. You get a couple of douches with horns down,
agreed.
but most people did that over there. Like, they didn't come up to us and cause any problem. Most people come up to us, we're kind and welcoming and complimentary.
Well, this type of situation, the first week, number one against number three, it's very rare. I was looking at talking to Craig Way, and we agreed that in 1979 was the last time that number one and I think number two at that time in the first game of the season. But this is impressive because both are titans of football. Those are big programs and successful programs. Well, more successful Ohio State than Texas, but very respected teams around the nation.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was certainly one for the history books, right? So we know that Texas finished that game, unfortunately, not on top, lost to Ohio State 14-7. So Texas dropped from number 1 down to number 7. Wanted to ask, Rocky, thanks for putting this up. Wanted to ask, Ruben, what's your take on that? Do you feel the fall from 1 to 7 is justified? Do you feel that's a little low, a little high, just right? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, after the game, we were driving back to the hotel, and we were discussing that. And since some other games were still being played, we were saying maybe 6 But then at the end of the night, we were talking about maybe 8 or 9. But 7 is a lot better than what we thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were
agreed.
saying between 5 and 8 seemed fair, depending on, and at that time it still depended on what happened with, if Clemson drove LSU out the field, then we would have stayed ahead of LSU. Notre Dame and Miami went toe to toe. So we were like, what do we, it depends on what happened with the games that night. But at the end of the day, what we decided was be in that top 8, hopefully top 4, but be in that top 8. But mostly we were saying, well, oh no, if the margin of error now is so slim. And we talked about this last week, that Texas needed this win more going into this game, because now 1 or maybe 2 losses left to spare and you're out of the playoffs. Or
Yes.
even if you're in, you might be going to Penn State in December. You might be going to Georgia. You might be going to LSU at night. You don't want that. You don't want that. That's. I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's the matter of remaining in that position, which is difficult, because there are other opponents in the season that are really tough. Like we have Georgia playing against Georgia in their home. We have Florida. So those 2 games, I mean, are going to be very, very tight games, and with the risk of getting out of the best 8. But what I saw from the players, the players on Saturday that never gave up, even the situation, and the other team was kind of scared that they were going to get tied and maybe Texas winning. That's the wonderful moment for both of the teams, but one of them needed to win, and not the one that put the most yards, not the one that put the most first and 10s. But it was a great entertainment. How many millions of people watch it?
What's that?
Was it 16.6? Something like that. I have it here somewhere. The most watched first week game ever.
18 million. That's what I was saying
18
earlier.
million.
18
Oh,
It was
okay.
18 million. Yeah.
Wow.
So definitely a lot of people tuned in. Now, and Ruben, I think that's something I know we wanted to talk about.
Okay.
We'll jump into it. You mentioned Texas had more yards. If you look at the box score, you look at the fact that we held Smith to, in the 2 games that we've played him now, we've held Smith to 60 yards total in both games. You look at that and you say, all right, if I look at this box score, it seems that Texas would have won the game, won both games, right?
The only aspect it was those penalty yards, and it was a few minutes difference in the time of possession, but the rest of the stats were really good, especially the punting. It was excellent.
We have a punter. We don't know yet if we have a clutch kicker, because he wasn't called on to attempt field goals, but we do know we have a punter who can drop it on a dime deep in their end, give our defense every opportunity. That's the third phase of the game that we were missing.
It is not only the kicking. If you notice the effect of the football, it was such that when it bounced, it didn't bounce against our side. It just stayed there, and that's something that they need to give an effect on the football to create that. But when I coach and I played the football, I would say, you just punt it and put it on the air 4 seconds and a half, and we'll be there making the tackle.
Oh, it was great. I mean, his hang time, of course, we're talking about Bo Meester here. His hang time was incredible. His placement was great. And to your point, the technique, his style, I mean, he hit those balls so perfectly. I mean, this was the first time in a very long time that I felt that Texas really had the ability to flip the field. Right. And they did it several times. I think that was one thing that was kind of frustrating for me, was walking away from this. You go, man, we had this key element that we hadn't had in so long. Texas flipped that field. The defense did their job, and for the most part held Ohio State. It was just 2 key plays where Ohio State got most of the yardage that, Texas kind of shot themselves in the foot. So before we dive into details, I did want to ask real quick, let's give our quick knee-jerk reactions after the game. What were your thoughts, just your quick thoughts, and then we'll dive into what we thought the good, the bad, and the ugly were about this game. So
Okay.
Ruben, what were your knee-jerks right after the game?
Well, but the first thing, it was the most comment item of the game. It was Arch. So what I thought it was, hey, experience is not given by victories. In those experienced quarterbacks there are in NCAA, NFL, they have not been great sometimes. So, but the other side, the guy is playing one of the best defenses in the country. Okay, and they are playing the still reigning national champion. So for me, it was more of a test, just to adjust things for the rest of the season, and that was it. I mean, if it will be more points against, that'll be a little bit more of a bleeding situation,
Sure.
But this one, but we'll take it. I mean, because the team on the defense did really, really well, really, really good. They put him on I mean, just kept them out there from the scoring board. It more than that. How many explosive plays? 2 explosive plays.
Yeah,
I mean,
it wasn't many.
It's the main receiver couldn't do nothing, and and it was.
Yeah, we'll talk about Grayson Littleton on Jeremiah Smith in a bit. But wow, what a performance! Yeah. All right. So my knee-jerk reaction, Megan, if you don't mind, my knee-jerk reaction was, why such a vanilla offense against an elite defense? And my first thought as we were walking away from that game, I kept saying all this time about iron sharpen iron and this and that and playing against, the best against the best. I thought Arch would have been, I know it's a different scheme they were playing against, what, and they didn't know what Matt Patricia was going to put out there, but I thought that as fast and powerful and strong and smart our defense is, and they were fantastic against Ohio State, I just thought Arch would have been more prepared to read at the line and make quick decisions and adjust with pressure. I thought he would have been a little more prepared. He looked shell-shocked the first half, picked it up. Like you said, Ruben, they never quit. He finished strong. He was driving for an opportunity to take this game to overtime. And I thought the misses were things that we did not expect from Arch. And so I just was expecting our defense to have prepared him more for this moment. And I expect him to be lights out on Saturday. Megan, what's your knee-jerk reaction as we were walking out of the stadium?
I got to tell you, I feel like, I don't know if I'm just getting old, because that was kind of my first thought. Like, I'm not super mad. Like my younger years, I would have been pissed, right? I would have been upset. But I feel like, and I don't know if this is just combination, like I said, of me getting older or being able to key in on the good things. Yes. First thoughts were, it felt like Julian Sayin came out and performed the way that we were expecting Arch Manning to.
Yes.
I think Sayin looked prepared. He looked cool, calm, and collected, where Arch Manning looked like the guy that was rattled and, deer in headlights. I'm not worried about Arch Manning. I'm not. And, I'm seeing all of these crazy reactions, and, Texas fans are famous for underreacting to things, right? But we see all these overreactions to Arch Manning. I'm not worried about him. What I did key in on is like, okay, don't love that the mechanics were off. For me, that concerned me a little bit more than him not quite settling in. But to y'all's point, he did smooth out. He got, he started to get in kind of a rhythm there. I thought too, and I know this kind of goes against the grain of what a lot of people are saying or thinking, but for me, I didn't think that the game plan was bad from Sark. I felt that the play calls were actually there. Mm-hmm. I felt that the problem was execution. And it's hard to get crazy with your play calls. It's hard to get more elaborate when your guys can't execute the basic fundamentals. So for me, I felt like the game calling and the plan was actually reeled in and simplified, more vanilla, because of the fact. I mean, if you look at that first play, the very first play out of the box, Texas has the ball. There were two wide open receivers, wide open in the flats. I mean, Texas schemed well, Sark schemed well. Arch just flat out missed the guy. He was playing skipping rocks at that point, right? And I feel like, and I don't know what it looked like on TV. I can tell you in person, there were multiple times that this offense had the plays and Arch just wasn't making the right decisions. He wasn't seeing the field quite well enough, but the plays were there. There were touchdowns that were there. There were long
We
yardage
were pointing, look, he's
opportunities.
wide open.
We're-
I know
yeah.
it's easy for us to see from our
Right.
seats, and he's got these guys running in his face. But you're right, Megan. Things were missed, right?
Yeah. So for me, my knee jerk was like, all right, didn't love how we performed, didn't love how we executed, but I walked away feeling like our O-line answered some questions. They, for the most part, they did their job. We'll jump into that. I felt that Arch Manning's going to settle. I'm not worried. I felt that the play calling for the most part was solid. We just have to be better at execution and mentally. I just feel like Texas wasn't mentally there for this game. And we saw that, come out with the penalties as well.
Yeah. Especially going in, all the players were saying, they thrive off the booze. They embrace the hate kind of vibe talk last week. They're ready to go into a hostile environment. They have a winning record on the road in these hostile environments. We've seen that. And then it felt like, and we talked, Megan, you mentioned it when they were first coming out, they seemed kind of flat.
They did.
Not that you need them jumping around like lunatics, but the vibe felt flat, and maybe they would have performed better off the start if it was a night game and they had more heat and hate. It was loud. Ohio State fans were rowdy and loud, but it felt like the team wasn't. It just felt a little flat, and the performance was a little flat, not on defense or special teams, but their offense was flat. And then they, like Ruben said, they never quit, right, Ruben? They never quit.
And one thing I will say, there's something called circadian cycle, and they don't play well early in the day visiting, but they play well at home early. But circadian cycle, you are not in your room, you are not in your bed, and I don't know how you spend the night with a lot of expectations and this and that. And I guess that's what happened. But you are right. You're right. The spark wasn't that brilliant, that igniting the fire, So, but I'm glad that this happened in this environment in the first game. Because as we get into the out of conference games, and it's just the opportunity to give a lot of players the opportunity to try and all that, and then you got into the tough games. Well, I'm glad this happened at the beginning, because now they need to solidify the things that they needed to win that game.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, so let's kind of dive into the good, the bad, the ugly. We'll get into breaking down more offense, defense, special teams in particular, but just generally about the game, the good, the bad, the ugly. And we're going to end on a positive note, the good. So let's start with the bad. I mean, we'll keep it real, Megan. What did you see was bad in this game? I mean, it's game one on the road against the defending champs, like you mentioned, Ruben. But what was bad, Megan?
Yeah, for me, again, the penalties. I mean, that was a thing that we've got to talk about. I would almost put that in the ugly as well. So just those mental lapses from Texas was really frustrating. I know we're going to talk about Arch here in a little bit. So I want to point out something that I don't think was being talked about enough. The wide receivers, to me, weren't doing everything that they could to help their quarterback out. I think that's something that we noticed. So again, we mentioned a little bit earlier, the play calling was there. The routes were there. We'd see our guys run the routes. I'm a little concerned about we've spent the whole offseason talking about physicality, how tough this team is, how big and mean, and we want to go up and hit somebody. I wasn't seeing that so much from the wide receivers. I'm a little bit worried about that one-on-one, the blocking, because we know when Sark does start to get in his bag, when he gets a little crazier with those play calls, having big, fast receivers that are going to go up and fight you for the ball, having these guys that are also going to serve as decoys and block well, That's important. We've got to have that. I also felt that the receivers, when Arch was not necessarily making the fast decisions that we need to see from him, the O-line was holding great. I mean, there were times that Arch had 4, 5, 6 seconds to throw the ball, and he was still hanging on to it. In moments like that, I really would have liked to see the wide receivers come back to your quarterback, man. Help him out. If your route is busted and you're past the point and you still see that he still needs some help, come back to the man. Give him some opportunities, right? Especially if he's missing some of his plays. Give him that confidence. Like, and I felt like that wasn't happening with this wide receiver crew. So that is something that I thought, just from a baseline level, fundamental level, that could have had a lot of improvement. Rocky, did you have anything that stuck out as the bad?
I would just say the connections with the wide receiver, the timing is as elite as they are in route running. There just was a lot left to be desired. Let's listen to Arch himself talk about this performance.
There wasn't much to like, but I think I'm proud of the guys. I thought we battled back for the most part. I got to play better for us to win. You don't like losing, especially opening week, going 0-1. But, the sun comes up, and it's time to attack San Jose State. And can't dwell on the past. It's not going to help me or help the team. So we got to learn from it and get better and attack this week.
Learn from it and get better. That's all they can do. Ruben, do you want to jump in? Is there anything that you thought was just bad? I mean, we don't want to insult the guys, but something that we know they can fix. But it was not a good show.
Well, I will say the football games are you start winning the games in the trenches. It's where it is. So those times where they were stopped in fourth and something, and it can illustrate who was having the domination in the line in those moments. It's certainly sometimes they gave Arch a lot of time without being pressured, but in those situations that you have half of a yard, 1 yard, that's when you need all the extra dynamite you have in your abilities.
Right. Let's look at a couple of comments. CB mentioned the mechanical breakdown was shocking, talking about Arches. At some point, he was even like on his toes throwing sidearm. People were questioning, is he injured? Because it was unlike him. We've seen him make beautiful, beautiful throws, and he did pick it up and adjust and have some beautiful throws at the end. So that was kind of, not his best showing, and all that pressure. And like you said, Megan, 18 million viewers at one point watching this game. And that's a lot. John Mitchell, we got to hang out with John Mitchell on Friday. He joined. We met him at one of the socials, and he joined us for dinner. What a cool dude! All right, hey ladies, great takes. I was surprised Arch was missing the easier throws, especially on the crossers and patterns in the flat. Saying did have a much better plan for success. Yeah, I think they both had great plans. I just think being in the confines of a quiet and cozy third down over and over helped say a lot. Being at home helps, right? It helps.
Does.
All right, so let's look at the ugly. There were a couple of ugly things, Megan.
Yeah, again, I'm going to harp on those penalties. This is something that has been problematic for Sark's teams since he's been here. It's like we do good, we execute, but in key moments, those penalties were absolute killers. On Ohio State's first scoring possession, when they scored, that drive was kept alive by 3 Texas penalties. They were just boneheaded penalties, not paying attention, not locked in, not focused. That's killer, man. And when you're going up against a team like Ohio State in an environment like the Horseshoe, you cannot have these mental lapses. And I thought that was really costly for Texas. We saw it again with the safety that would have been, right? Texas, that could have been a big momentum shift for Texas. Having that safety, it was absolutely a safety. And then you get the hands to the face. And that just absolutely, it saved them. It killed what could have been a massive momentum shift for Texas. So things like that. I mean, at this point, these are Sark's guys. They've been in his system. I know we've got some new guys here and there, but for the most part, this is Arch's 3rd year in Sark's system. This is, these O-line guys have over 1,300 snaps, right? So yes, some of them are a little bit newer as far as their starts, but this is not a new system for a lot of our players. And to still have these mental mistakes just feels, man, there is nothing that drives me more insane than stupid penalties. And there were quite a few of them in this game.
Yeah, the first game of the year on the road in a loud environment, I understand them, but the issue is, like you said, one extended a drive that, you know, gave them a touchdown, that where they earned a touchdown, and you know, the other one took away safety. And but I would just say, for me, that ugly is those red zone. We still can't, right on the goal line, like you mentioned, Ruben, the intensity and the decision making. You know, we saw that there were some great play calling, but maybe not the decision making on the line or the efficiency. There's one play, Megan, that you wanted us to show. Let me see. It's right here. This goal line play right here, where who is it that pointed out that Arch just ran the wrong way, right? Here's the play. So he's got a block left and he cuts in, and the touchdown opportunity was the other way.
This is where I argue about, you know, Sark's play calling. You had a lot of people dogging on, oh, Sark was terrible, he fell apart again. To me, that's not on the play caller. That's on the playmaker. That's just not looking where your blocks are. That's not looking, you know, what you've got to take what the defense is giving you. And Texas didn't capitalize on that in these key moments.
All right, so let's get to the good, and we'll let you, Ruben, go first. Ruben, let us know, what did you think was really good coming out of this game?
They're not letting their offense to do the job completely. Like, for example, the great guy Grayson Littleton. That was a nice surprise, one of the beautiful surprises of the defense. The punter, I mean, 46 yards, and he had also 2 of around 50. Those were the best things that I saw.
All right.
Absolutely.
Anything else good, Ruben?
Anything else good is just that the mind of the players or the whole team after this game, it's been readjusted, I guess, before they left Columbus, Ohio, because it shows that maybe I don't want to use the word that deficiencies, but there are weak sides and moments where the 11 don't pull together. You know, that's what it showed. If the 11 work, that is a successful play.
All right.
Absolutely.
Megan, give us some good, Megan.
Yeah, look, again, I'm going to say there are some people that want to dog on the O-line. I thought they played really well. Again,
Very good.
Looking at the plays that were there, you can't expect absolute perfection out of these guys when you're giving your quarterback that much time to make decisions. Again, that's on your quarterback to capitalize. So I thought I came out of this game feeling like there's a ton to build on with the O-line and feeling like we're in a pretty good place. Of course, when we're down on the goal line and we want to see, you know, those red zone issues, you want to see Texas get that push. I would argue that, you know, Texas was going tempo and driving. And then they stalled out a little bit on the goal line. And then it was almost like they went too fast, because Rocky, on that, when Texas, the O-line, where I thought they looked their worst, was right on that goal line stand, but they didn't have a chance to get set. Like, that could have almost been a penalty against Texas. And so if you're not giving your O-line the chance to, like, get set, know what's coming in, and get ready to make that push, again, there's not a chance in hell. So aside from that play, I really felt like the O-line did a really good job, especially this early, especially in this crazy of an environment, especially against this good of a team. So for me, I felt comfortable with that. Yeah, of course, we've mentioned special teams. I have hope. I feel joyful about our special teams. I think this is really going to make the difference in some of the games here.
Boom Meester. Yep, that's what they're calling it. Boom Meester. All right, I'll tell you my good, Ruben and Megan. The running game. the running game. The thunder and lightning is back with Baxter and Wisner. It was incredible that Baxter played so well against such a strong defensive opposition, right? And Wisner was exciting. There were moments where you could tell he was willing his team at moments. The way he stayed patient but powerful, and we saw everybody's been talking about how he's put more, built up his body more this offseason and worked on his explosiveness. I was so impressed with Wisner. At the end of the game, he was absolutely my player of the game. The way he put at moments the team on his back, trying to will them to win. Let's listen. Corey Mose was able to talk to Wisner and Baxter after the game in the press conference, and this is what they had to say.
We came in together, so we haven't really played with each other before, so we're really thankful and grateful for the moment to be able to share the backfield together.
He had that tragedy last year. He go down. So it kind of like, it just rocked the boat. It didn't knock us off the ship. It just rocked the boat as far as us having each other's back on the field.
There was a drive in the game. I'm not sure exactly which one it was, but he got like 5 carries in a row. We rolled down the field. I got in. I had like a good run, 8-yard run, and then whatever. Him having those runs, when I got him, I'm like, all right, I got to make a run now because the energy of the offense is coming alive. So I'm like, let me go make a play too.
We complement each other so well in the run game that we was understood and got to be split between us. So
they talked a lot about how they're inspiring each other. They're, motivated to play next to each other. I thought they were a fantastic duo. I'm excited to see more from them and SEC play. I don't know how much they're going to play in the next 3 weeks, but that run game behind the O-line, I thought they were really strong on the road, outran the home team. Almost 2-1 or 3, 1.5 times, whatever they ran, whatever. It was fantastic. They outran the home team. I thought it was great. I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, I will say I liked seeing these. I like seeing them say we're going to play off each other. We're going to, they're feeling energy. The only thing that I would critique with the running game right now is I'd like to see more yards after the contact. Right. That's somewhere where Texas, I feel there is room for improvement. I think these guys, we know Wisner, he's finesse. He's one of the most patient runners we've seen. Really and agree, Rocky, like he has put on some weight. He's worked on that explosiveness, and he's going to be a guy that is got that Roshan Johnson mentality. I'm going to do whatever it takes for this team. And I love that. But I definitely, especially, with Wisner, but especially with Baxter too, I really, big Baxter. Like I want to see more yards after contact. I think that's an area that Texas could improve on a little bit. But other than that, no notes. I think running backs they're going to get there.
Megan, I think you played American football, right? Okay.
Familiar with it.
What are the elements that tells the quality of a ball carrier is precisely that? The yards after contact, okay? But one of the things that I saw in these guys, even though they didn't have runs, more than 13 yards, 14 yards, they don't elude the contact of the linebackers. They go through it. So that's the way, because in certain way, you got to punish the tacklers, and that's what they do. I remember Ricky Williams hitting the tackles with the tie and with the helmet, and that's amazing because at least these two guys are doing that contact really hard in order to make those yards after the contact. But only a couple of long yardage explosive plays, just one or two in each one of them.
That's very true. That's very
true. I think going into Ohio State and averaging 4.5 yards a carry is pretty solid, especially with Baxter coming back from Wisner called the tragedy of his injury last year. It was a horrific injury, and here he is running, 10 carries against Ohio State to start the season. So I thought that was pretty good. Before we move on from good, bad, and ugly, Miracle Martinez, her good was the entire team fighting to the end of the game. Yes, we mentioned they did not quit. The bad, the offense didn't seem together. The ugly, 4th and 1. Yeah, that was rough. That was rough. But it felt like they rushed it. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so let's move on. We have a few minutes. Let's break down the offense. We kind of were talking a little bit of running game, arch mechanics here, but anything else you want to say about the running game, Megan? I mean, about the offense that you noticed on Saturday, Ruben or Megan?
Yeah, Ruben, go ahead.
I think it's just I will put a little bit more of time consuming, at the right moments. Or another thing, maybe trying to score the earliest that you can, and just to have points ahead and take your pressure out of that situation, that not having points at the beginning. That's the
So
only
do you
thing.
think on 4th and 1 they should have maybe went for a field goal there, or go for it at the goal line?
No. You gotta go for the highest points. The only thing is we didn't see many RPOs or different play action, those type of things. And because if you do a fake or two, that works really well. But we didn't see that abundance as the last year we did with the offense.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Rocky, one thing that I noticed too, we talked about this on our last show, that we felt an important kind of hidden key to this game was going to be Arch Manning, how he managed the game, but also using his legs, right? We know he's one of the fastest guys on the team. I felt like that was something that I again, we've talked about. I mean, Arch just was not in his bag. He was not having the best game of his life. But that's something I would have liked to see a little bit, that faster decision making with him. Like if he doesn't feel the throws are there, if he's not seeing it, he had some opportunities to run too. So I feel like, again, as we get a few more games under the belt, the stretch of the next 3 games, I think is going to be really good for Texas. But I would like to see, again, faster decision making from Arch. Get a little touch on that pass, calm down a little bit, clean up those mechanics a little bit. And again, take what the defense has given you. If your throws aren't there, take the run, man. You're a fast kid. Like nothing. I know coaches don't like to put your quarterback at risk, but I'll tell you, nothing will fire up a team like watching your QB go out there and scramble for freaking 35 yards and taking on dudes, right? So I think a little bit more of that could have made a big difference there. Rocky, what are your thoughts?
I agree, because on that, when they started going tempo, he started getting in a rhythm, and then we got that
A little bit of that swagger, right?
Yeah,
like that,
and he took off running for first down, and then that was changing the momentum of the game a bit, and of course they got stalled on the goal line, but that tempo was working. For whatever reason, they went away from that tempo again, but it was just unfortunate that in the biggest moment stage, going in number 1 in the country, the most people watching ever the first week, all those things. And it was a lot to handle for anyone. We've heard from, NFL quarterbacks say, he's fine. It's okay. He's a great quarterback. He's a great talent. Give him time. That's a lot to ask from him. So the offense we know had struggles, only 7 points on the road. We'll get into it in a minute, but there were teams scoring 70 this weekend, and Texas managed 7. So let's get into the defense. Lots of positives about the defense. Ruben, first thoughts about the defensive performance this Saturday?
It was really, really good to see how they behaved. Even though they didn't have any turnover or tackles for loss, but they remained situated in their position and very happy to see Leon Galifao take the leadership there, watching the toughness of Michael Taff, the play of Muhammad, and I guess, I mean, our secondary, it's going to still improve more than they showed, especially that guy Littleton. I'm surprised that he showed up, and spicy guy, and also the hard hitting Mohammed. I mean, it's just they are doing the job. Big surprise, Jelani McDonald, also being tight there with the receivers there, not letting them work on the long or just catching the ball. I think the defense, this is a defense, I guess, that can take you to another postseason or maybe semifinals or final. Yeah, this is the good. In 2005, we had the defense number 10, and I guess the offense was kind of the 18 or 19, but that's what you need in order to survive the whole season, a good defense.
Absolutely. All right. So are we going to hear you call Littleton Picante now? Is he?
Yes,
we
great
just,
name, Megan. El Picante.
El Picante?
El Picante, yeah.
Okay.
So spicy.
Well, we're going to recommend that. Yes.
Tell him Megan made it up. Here he is, Grayson Littleton, true freshman. He got so much talk over in the fall camp about how he was coming on strong, how they were saying he's the best DB that to cover the slot. We know they were probably going to try to use Jeremiah Smith maybe in the slot to mix things up. He went toe to toe with not even just the best wide receiver in the country, but the best football player in the country. Grayson Littleton went toe to toe. He was the highest graded true freshman cornerback in the country with an 83.3 and the sixth highest player overall, freshman overall in all of college football this weekend. He was fantastic on the biggest stage, absolutely ready. If you're good enough, you're old enough, and Grayson Littleton is good enough. What a performance. He should be so proud.
Absolutely.
El Picante.
El Picante, right?
Yeah, make a note.
He's a little spicy there. I'm just saying.
Because he's so spicy. That's good. All right. So speaking of defense, John Mitchell says the D tackles were a pleasant surprise. Ohio State fans were saying that this was their best offensive line in years, and we stood our ground. That's true. They had media, like pro Ohio State media, saying that this was the best O-line. We had a great rotation, stayed fresh. I was really proud of the defensive tackles. I thought our linebackers were fantastic. You mentioned Leon Galafau. I felt like he was flying everywhere, helping with the run. I want to know, where was all that edge pressure we were supposed to hear about? Maybe I need to go watch it again and again, but how did you feel about that, Ruben? All this pressure. We've been hearing so much about Texas going to have the number one edges in the country with the most pressure. And I felt like Sayin had time.
Yes, that's one of the elements that the defense was not coming along with. The pressure on the quarterback. That's the initial. If you have that quarterback that is for the first time starting a game like this big, I mean, pressure over the quarterback. And I guess there were not even quarterback pressures, neither sacks. So this need to be studied in a certain way, maybe combination of movements between with the tackles or something. But this needs to be kind of one of the first elements, the most aggressive element of the defense. The pressure over the quarterback. That's elemental.
Agreed.
All right.
Rocky, go.
I was going to say, if you have anything else about defense, Megan, before we move to special teams.
Yeah, I just wanted to call out Mookie one more time. I thought he really showed his leadership here. He was a guy that they were asking a lot of in this scheme. PK really had him all over the field. They were asking him to play short. He was hitting close. He was right up there in the mix of things, while also having to stay back and keep an eye out on coverage. I thought he directed well. So once again, I thought, Taft, we know that he stayed his senior year when he very well could have been drafted last year. So he stayed one more year to put that in. So I thought his leadership was really important, and I thought he had a really great game.
Yeah, with Derek Williams back, they're trying to get everybody on the field. They moved, we saw Taft up at nickel, and he did fantastic. We saw him come up and have a crazy hard hit on the run on one of those plays. So we have to give love to Jack Bomeister. We'll move to special teams because we know, Ruben, we value your time. You were willing to stay with us. So we want to make sure we value your time. Jack Bomeister. Bomeister, what a fantastic punter. What did you really notice about his game on Saturday?
It is important to have a punter like this where he is working for the team. He's not only kicking the ball just hard enough. No, you gotta make it hang enough time. You gotta have that rotation that favors our team, and that's the situation. That's the way that you can gain ground against the other team. A good kick and the coverage. We didn't have a very good returns of the punts, but the kickoffs were like 15 yarders or all of that. But there was one that they took it kind of a 5 or 6 yards inside of the touchdown area and coming out. So that was very, very difficult
They
to
were
see.
being aggressive, that's for sure.
Especially when you compared Texas's Boomeister to Ohio State's punter, who was shanking it terrible until they needed it the most. He drops a bomb, but that's okay. Texas has a punter, and that feels good. Megan, you wanted to share this clip of Boomeister chatting. I'd love to hear him talk. This is him talking about coming to be the punter at Texas.
Jack, what was your idea about what Texas is going to be like? And then now that you're here, has it lived up to that idea or is it something different?
I mean, yeah, it's been a whirlwind. I think that when I first got here and put on the Longhorn logo, I think I just had to pinch myself a little bit. You can show people back at home that logo and they know exactly what it means. So coming to like this kind of program and just experiencing everything and going through it all with all the guys, yeah, it's been awesome. Yeah.
His technique showed like he played rugby.
Yeah, I mean, Australians just crank out the kickers, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And they're so far away from home. We have to remember that.
Yeah, but I did want to give it a shout out to our friend Corey Mose. He's always great with those post game interviews and in the pressers. So yeah, I love seeing it. And I'll tell you, I mean, that was my experience when I was in Australia. I mean, this was a while ago even. I mean, gosh, it's been, good Lord, I'm old, almost 20 years ago, right? There for about a month. I was wearing my Texas gear and I'd have Australians come up to me that give me the hook 'em horns. Oh, Texas, yeah. Like they'd be so excited about it.
I know.
It is that international brand, man. So what a fun thing for him. Glad that he's here. So glad to have him. Let's get some of that Michael Dixon magic, right? And
yeah, CB said it reminded him of Michael Dixon. All right, so let's wrap up our thoughts on Texas at Ohio State. We were all there. Ruben, you were up in the booth. Can you give us like a wrap up your thoughts about the view from overhead and then watching the game after and what your takeaways are and how you think that lends towards the future, the rest of the season for Texas?
Yeah, well, what you need to do is always learn from your faults. When you are not reaching out to the level, you are learning because you are suffering. So I guess that this is gonna give the team a lot of teaching and minor and mid things in order to proceed the next 3 games, and getting ready for the competition and the conference, which is going to be really, really a tough conference this year, I guess.
Absolutely.
Megan, final thoughts on Texas at Ohio State? Because we got to do like Arch said and turn the page and look forward. Can't look back.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, for me, this isn't the end of the world. The sky isn't falling. All of this stuff, I believe, is fixable. We saw a lot of good. I think some of that good was hidden by a little bit of the bad. But all in all, I feel, at the end of the day, you learn more from your losses than you do your wins. Right. And I think Texas is going to learn a lot from this experience. I'm glad we got this game out of the way in the very beginning of our season when it's not necessarily going to affect the outcome of the season itself. And we can learn from it and move on. So onward. Would have been nice to have this one, but the season is still ahead of us. There's still a lot to go. We know what we got to fix, and let's get out there and fix it. Rocky, how about you?
All right. Elite defense is going to win championships. We have the best defense in the country. They held the best wide receiving room in the country, the top 2 receivers to under 90 yards or something like that. I'm all the faith in this defense, and they will just keep getting better. Superstars like, this young Grayson Littleton coming up with the experience of, like you mentioned, Muhammad and Taff and, McDonald and all these players who are going to bring these young ones up. I'm excited. We saw Kobe Black out there this weekend. So there's the youth is coming. I'm excited about the defense. I think our biggest question going into this game, most of the summer, all off season, was O-line. For them to put that level performance, solid, they protected only one play for loss, and it was a 1-yard sack of Arch. So I have our biggest concern going in is going to be okay. They're going to be fine. They're developed and they're going to get the experience, and they're going to get better. So I think it's okay. And I think, Meg, when you say, am I getting old because I'm not breaking down and panicking and flipping out because they didn't win this game? I know I'm getting old because my thought was, oh, poor Arch. Like all the hype,
Yeah.
and all the things that he didn't build up that everyone else built up around him. What a big moment. And the good thing is he's going to have a lot more moments. He's going to go into Florida. He's going to go into Georgia. He's going to go into the playoffs. There's plenty of opportunity to proudly, yes, I'm Arch Manning. I'm the best quarterback in the country. Not that he says it, we say it. Media says it. It's coming. There's lots of opportunity, even though now it's Heisman talk, this and that of 20 other players. It changes every week, right? So anyway, yes. Ruben, any other final thoughts before we say goodbye?
Yeah, well, just for the fans, Longhorns fans, I mean, there are champions, national champions have lost 1 or 2 games during the season. I mean, this is not a major thing because losing to one of the best teams in the country, I mean, I'll take it. But think about that. Ohio lost 2 games, right, last year, and they are the champions. So
Right.
They
nothing.
lost to Michigan. I don't know what else, but I know they lost to Michigan.
Oh, well, one question that we were spreading around the Ohioans followers, it was if they were more interested, what will have hurt the most, losing to Michigan or losing a national championship? So I guess most of them said losing to Michigan is more important.
Wow. I don't know. I would take a loss to OU if I won a national championship.
Thank you for having me here with you.
Ruben, you are phenomenal.
Tell everybody where to find you.
Okay. Facebook, Ruben Pizarro TV /radio. Instagram, Ruben _ Pizarro S. And Instagram, Ruben Pizarro TV /radio.
All right. They can find you everywhere. Love it.
Thank you. Yes.
All right. We love having you. And everyone, when Texas puts out social media with that Longhorns and Español, that exciting animated voice with all the great names and all the great action, that is our friend Ruben.
All right, Ruben,
thank you.
Before you leave us, can you give us one of your famous sign-offs? We'd love to hear it.
Señoras y señores, la victoria es de Longhorns, 24-22 aquí en The Shoe. Este equipo de Ohio no había sido derrotado en 53 partidos. Y Longhorns gana esta noche. Bye.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Gracias, Ruben. Gracias.
Thank you.
We loved having you. The comments enjoyed you. Everyone's happy to hear from you again. Thank you so much. Ruben Pizarro was awesome. And Miracle Martinez, thank you for all you do for Texas athletics, especially allowing our abuelitas to understand the game. Yeah, CB, awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Gracias por todo.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Buenas noches. Good night.
Thank you. Buenas noches.
All right. Good night. That was amazing.
Love it.
So wonderful.
Love it.
Megan, let's give a little love to Rockin' Diamond S Ranch. It is happy hour. We got to give love to Rockin' Diamond S Ranch, who supports our show, and take it away.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. If you are looking for the perfect Texas experience this football season, look no farther than the Rockin' Diamond S Ranch. It's seated on 120 acres in the beautiful hill country just near Johnson City, and it's a quick drive to Austin or San Antonio. The property sleeps 14 with one primary home and 2 fully furnished cabins. With wildlife watching, fishing, you can play with the Longhorns. There's indoor and outdoor eating and cooking and a great outdoor area. You can see it right there by the drone footage. It is an amazing place to host or just take a little staycation and relax. So it's just 5 minutes from downtown Blanco with breweries, eateries, shopping, and more. Again, we got F1 coming up. We got MotoGP. We've got that Arkansas, that A&M game. We got a bunch of home games left here, y'all. So if you're looking for a place to go, don't pay those Austin prices. Check out the Rockin' Diamond S Ranch. That is rockindiamondsranch.com, or give our good friend Chuck Smith a call at 512-694-1969.
All right, you can screen capture it there. Chuck Smith, Rockin' Diamond S Ranch for that contact info. All right, Megan, that was wonderful having Ruben. We had him with us, I think, last year. I think he came and joined us last season. And what we got to hear all his story about how he came to athletics and everywhere he's been for over the 30 years. He's been everywhere, all the games, all the different sports. Fantastic.
He's had a truly incredible career. And look, I will wear that badge proudly if we can get Littleton to be called El Picante. I'm going to be in. That'd be amazing.
That is so good. And yeah, I love the names, but also like he's a physician. Like he went to medical school and was a doctor. He played college football. Like he's just, I mean, he's amazing. I'm so grateful that he's our friend and graces us with his time. And then of course he creates these viral audios of his, and I'm glad you asked him to give us a little Español love, and he did. All right, so last weekend, let's do a quick recap about college football week 1.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. So, in my sadness of Texas only scoring 7 points with an offensive genius coach and the best quarterback in the country and all the things, I had to go see. How sad is it that we only scored 7 points? Oh, it's happy hour, Megan, quickly before we forget. Richard made me a passion fruit something.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm drinking water.
How sad is it that we only scored 7 points? I had to go look at it. So just D1 football, just FBS, I was looking through. 42 teams scored 40 or more points. Of those, 19 scored 50 or more points. Of those, 7 scored 60 or more points. And one team, USC, scored 73 points. Yes, I know they weren't all at Ohio State on the road against the defending national champions against an NFL level defense. I know. However,
that's all that matters.
It is I still don't understand that Texas only scored 7. I don't understand.
You can't compare how much a nationally ranked team scores against our ladies of the poor.
I know.
Compared to Texas going in to the shoe.
Let's say game of the season can score 73 at home. Do you think they could score 8 or more at Ohio State?
No, I don't. I don't think USC could go into Ohio State and score like that. I know it's
apples and oranges. I'm just saying offense is happening. If I was really clever, I would have went to like the last few years and been like, is this just a thing that now 50 teams are going to score 50 points in I know they all play cupcakes in the first week. So
yeah, I don't think this week is indicative of the true level. Again, if it was just about wins and losses, I mean, Texas would be out of the top 25, and you've got a bunch of people that played Kent State or something like that in there. I don't think it is. No, I appreciate you wanting to dwell on that pain a little bit. But I don't think you can compare.
The great thing about our game being Saturday at 11 a.m. is we were able to watch games Thursday, Friday, all Saturday evening. So, and our big partying, because we were up early to to the tailgates at Saturday at the stadium. We got back to the house and we were like, we should do this. We should do this. What did we do? We ordered pizza. We went to the liquor store, and all of us in the big Airbnb watched football all night on that TV in the Airbnb. And it was the best. We were all in our pajamas, like 8 of us in the pajamas and pizza, and we had a blast. So we just stayed in and watched football. So let's talk about the games, Megan. One of the biggest games, and I was dead wrong. I thought Clemson had a pulse. They do not. 9 LSU. Both quarterbacks looked awful. Nussmeier and Klubnik looked awful for a lot of the game, but when they woke up. And Megan, you were right. LSU won that game. Nussmeier is now the leading candidate for the Heisman, because don't overreact.
Right. Look, I had this one clocked as a upset alert. I think that Brian Kelly at LSU, still not convinced I'm not sure LSU is going to win it all. I'm not saying that by any means. I just felt like LSU had been listening to all this hype that they can't win the first game of the season. They can't do this. They can't do that. And I think they went in and played a solid game. And to the point, Rocky, I don't see, I could be wrong here. I don't see 40 points. I don't see 50 points or 60 points or 70 points. So when you have that higher competition, you have these two good teams going against each other. The scoring was low, and you're right. It was sloppy at times. Both quarterbacks looked a little rusty. But this is kind of what you get when you get two really good teams going against each other in that first game of the season. It was fun to watch. It was an entertaining game. I think both teams have a lot to improve on. I don't think that Klubnik is a trash quarterback because he had a bad game. I don't think that Nussmeier,
no.
Right? I don't think that Nussmeier is, it is interesting to see the national reaction to Arch versus the national reaction to Klubnik or Nussmeier having, kind of similar games. Now I would argue their offense is
very similar
fired
game.
a little bit
Keep
better.
it up for 3 quarters and play well when it mattered most. Both, yeah. So that's fine.
But yeah, so this was a good game. Again, I think LSU is going to be in the running for an SEC championship this year. I don't think they're going to win it, but I think they're going to be in the conversation. And certainly Clemson, Rocky, I don't think you were wrong. Clemson's a team that people might be sleeping on, maybe even more so now after dropping that first game against LSU. But Clemson still has a really talented team and a really talented
and an easy schedule.
Yeah, and an easy schedule.
A doable schedule, and an ACC championship that looks like could be maybe Miami, not North Carolina. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right.
No kidding.
All right. So let's get into the game that we were watching Saturday night, the Alabama, Florida State game. Number 8, Alabama, Kalen DeBoer, new quarterback, but still a pretty vaunted defense. Lots of NFL prospects on this defense, always recruiting strong on the offensive line. Florida State coming off a 2-10 season. We talked about this last week. What is Florida State now, and what did they do? Florida State, they beat them worse than the score. The score says 31-17. Florida State manhandled Alabama, out-physicaled them, outran them, pushed them around. It felt like, I know Alabama came back, fought to the end, but it felt like there were gaps where Alabama just did not fight back.
Yeah, look, I know there's going to be a lot put on, DeBoer, and he is no Nick Saban. I don't think anybody wants to be the man that follows the man, right? We know there's a lot of pressure on DeBoer. You'd have to be perfect. I'd say that's an impossible job. That being said, this Alabama team absolutely did not look tough. They didn't look like the guys that would fight. They didn't look like the guys that are going to be out there and just beat the crap out of you for 4 quarters, right? This Alabama team definitely has slipped a little bit. And that's not to say DeBoer isn't a good coach. I just think what we're used to seeing from Alabama and the kind of play, the kind of game that you've got to have in the SEC, I didn't see that from Alabama here. And man, You throwing it up here on the screen?
Yes, girl. Let's talk about it. So Tommy Castellanos, the quarterback of Florida State. Wow, what a triple threat. Like, forget dual threat. Homeboy's triple, quadruple threat. He put this team on his back. He talked the talk before the game. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me. Of course, that is bulletin board material times a million. And what did he do? Run circles around Alabama. He was not scared of Alabama. So I have something I want you to hear, Megan. I don't know if you've heard this or not. Did you hear Johnny Manziel? And we don't ever pull him up because Looney Toonies, but he made a pretty good, bold statement. We know Johnny Manziel is someone who early on went into Alabama when they were the big dog, beat Alabama with his team in their house, shocked the nation, right? Won the Heisman for that performance. But he said it himself. People just aren't scared of Alabama anymore. So listen to this and let me know what you think.
In the past, you walk and face an Alabama team, you probably got a little fear. This is Bama, the team that's been a dynasty, the team, you got a little fear. That fear aspect of what Alabama is completely gone. And nobody's scared of them boys. Not Vandy, not Kentucky, not nobody. Nobody's walking in and seeing Alabama on the schedule and having any kind of shake, any kind of fear, nothing. They've been getting wiped the last couple years. You say that buyout's deep, but like they're not going to sit here and let this stand for sure. They'll go find it in the woods somewhere.
Thoughts, Megan? If anything, Manziel tells it like it is, right? If anything, he tells like
he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Nobody's scared of them anymore.
Right. I mean, this Alabama team is starting to feel like the Texas teams that we had in our dark ages, right? The name is still there. The lore of the team is still there. Beating that team still counts. You still get hyped for it, but you're not going in to Alabama now and going and letting their success beat you early. Nobody's going. I have to agree with him. Nobody's going into Alabama right now.
I like the way you said that. They don't beat you before the game's played like it used to be.
Right. Yeah. It used to be, holy shit, it's Nick Saban. It's this is such a tough. All these national champ. Like there was the propensity to get caught up in that, right? And that can kind of mess with you mentally. That's not an issue anymore. I certainly agree that at this point you go in and they look beatable. And it's not just that they look beatable, like they've got the talent, right? Like Texas had the talent back, in the Charlie Strong era. The talent was there in the Tom Herman era, but the mentality wasn't there. That toughness, Nick Saban getting in your ass all week in practice, all during the game, not taking any bullshit, calling it like it is. It doesn't feel like that kind of toughness is there right now with Alabama. Now, can they find it? Maybe. I don't know. I can't.
They have this enough 5 stars.
They've got the talent. Again, it's not about the talent. To me, this is a mentality, and that's all on your head coach. Like, how does your head coach get you up? How does he motivate you? How does he get you hyped and pissed and like ready to go? I don't think, I will say this. Look, DeBoer beat us at Washington. No question there. But even that, Washington wasn't a team like, oh shit, they're going to come in and be the most physical. We just got the snot kicked out of us by a generational performance by Penix, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
You start to wonder a little bit, like, is DeBoer's, main pedigree built on a single generational quarterback? And I think people are going to test that. And until Alabama,
like Jimbo Fisher, a once-in-a-lifetime quarterback,
right?
Build your whole, yeah.
And until Alabama proves that that's not the case, until they prove that they can go in and kick your teeth in like they always used to, yeah. I mean, I got to agree with him. I don't think Alabama has the lore that they had before.
I love it. So this is an interesting stat, Megan. You mentioned Nick Saban's gone. Texas went into Alabama. I think Texas broke them. I think when Texas went in, Saban was still the coach. Ever since then, it's with a slide, right? Not at the immediate moment. They still went on to play well with Jalen Milroe, but it was a slide. But then when Kalen DeBoer took over, they had some moments of big wins, but they lost. They got their butt kicked by OU. They lost to Vanderbilt. Like, they lost to teams that they would not lose to in a million years. So look at this stat from College Football Nerds. In 14 games, just his, little over a year, whatever, Kalen DeBoer has lost to as many unranked teams as Nick Saban did in his entire 17 years.
I mean, that to me right there wraps everything up about who Alabama is right now. And, again, I empathize with the fan base. It sucks. It sucks to have the name. It sucks to have that legacy.
So I do not empathize.
But I'm just saying, I can appreciate, like,
I understand.
It sucks to have that, that legacy. It sucks to have that kind of history at your program and to be where you're at. Listen, if anybody can understand, it's Texas fans. We get it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's scared of Charlie Strong's Texas teams. Right? Like,
or Tom Herman's, even though they beat some people, nobody was scared of them. They would flat out call people. Remember the whole 5-star player, 3-star, whatever. Players from teams had no problem putting up bulletin board material. It didn't always work out for them, but they didn't have no problem throwing it out there like Castellanos did. So it'll be interesting to see FSU this year. Are they going to challenge Clemson or Miami for the ACC? That will be interesting. So let's move through quickly just some other things. UTSA against A&M. It was almost a game for about a half. Props to UTSA for running all over the Aggies. They need to go back to the drawing board with their run defense. I look forward to seeing Baxter and Wisner run on that team in November. Miami, Notre Dame. I was at the airport. You watched this game Sunday night, right? Miami, Notre Dame. I was at the airport watching the game and with big family from the big Notre Dame family. And it was great until it was not for them. It was a really ugly mess. It was hard to tell, but shockingly enough, Cristobal did enough for his team to win a game.
Yeah, again, Miami looks like
Stockton.
Yeah, Miami looks like a different team. Carson Beck, I mean, showed up. He kind of had that dog in him still, right? He was a man on a mission.
He was healthy too.
He did. And I got to say, he kind of had that swagger that I didn't see as much towards the end of his career at Georgia, right? Like, I think
the one he had the year before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It kind of felt like he got that pep back in his step and that kind of shimmy going on. So who knows, maybe following his girlfriend to Miami was the right move for him. I think it's something that he looked good. Miami looked good. And I think it started to answer the question, like, what was Miami going to look like without Cam Ward, right? Like, how were they going to be able to recover? And I think Carson Beck is standing up
better this year with Gunnar Stockton.
It's Gunnar Stockton, Carson Beck. You mean?
Sorry, Carson Beck. Why did I say Gunnar Stockton? Sorry, Gunnar Stockton is still at Georgia. Carson Beck. Thank you. Thank you.
So Beck, like I said,
Carson Beck. Yes, thank you.
I think he's answering. You got Georgia on the mind, girl. So
I do. I have like flashbacks of Gunnar Stockton coming into the game in Atlanta. No, I know Carson Beck, Gunnar Stockton still at Georgia. Yes, I know. There's so many.
Yeah. So anyway, Beck, I think he did really good. I think he did a good job of, this is his team. He's putting his identity on this Miami team, and there can be kind of a void, right? When you've got a quarterback like Cam Ward that leaves, can the next quarterback that steps up put the team on his shoulders but make it his team? Right. Yeah. Like, I think that's where you find the most success. So, I think that's certainly Miami's going to be a team to watch. I think Carson Beck is looking good so far. And again, for Notre Dame fans, look, they're not out of it either. Notre Dame had a lot of positive there. It was a really good matchup. Really
starting a new quarterback too, on the road in the rain. It's not a hostile environment in Miami because it's an hour away from campus, but still. And of course, CB, we have to mention Bert Auburn. Went to Miami and did not make the starting job. We're not going to pound on Bert Auburn, but wish him luck there. We'll see what happens there. Virginia Tech, South Carolina, we'll just mention Lenore Sellers started off hot, cooled off a bit once Virginia Tech figured out what South Carolina was doing, but good start for them. But let's just give a minute to TCU at North Carolina. Everyone, Michael Jordan was there. Mia Hamm was there. Everybody was there for the big Bill Belichick debut, and him and his little girlfriend, his granddaughter, they were there, and everybody was there. And boom, they started off hot. Went down the field. Gio Lopez, first drive, touchdown, and then nothing. The next 7 drives. 5 punts, 1 interception, and a fumble were the next 7 drives for North Carolina. Meanwhile, TCU is dropping dimes, and they go up 40 points. They win 48-14. Megan, you watched that game.
I did watch that game. Look, I thought Belichick coming to UNC felt so gimmicky to me. You know, I wish. Look, I'm not a fan of his. I will give credit where
I can't stand that man.
I'll give credit
He's
where
a
it's due.
cheater.
Right? The dude's got a ton of rings. Talk about generational quarterbacks, right?
How many would he have if he didn't cheat?
How many would he have without Tom Brady, right? So those two, they went hand in hand. They did a lot of good things together. This to me is starting to get to the point, and we'll see. Again, it's early in the season. This is a knee-jerk overreaction for sure. But to me, you saw it kind of, so he leaves the Pats, and then you kind of saw that whole mess with Tampa Bay. Like, does anybody want to pick up Belichick in the NFL? And the answer was no. That to me should have been your sign, right? And now he's coming into college because of course he is, and it's splashy and it's a name and cool. But to me, this feels like man, can you not just retire quietly and let your legacy be what it is? Because all I'm seeing at this point moving forward,
the money or anything.
He doesn't need the money. But to me at this point, it is a shit show. And all he's going to do is tarnish his legacy. I don't see this going well. I mean, if the man doesn't win a natty here in the next few years at UNC, what are you even doing? Like, to me, you're not going to improve your legacy. You're not going to, all you can potentially do is make it worse. And now you've got this carnival show with your middle school girlfriend and your TikTok girlfriend, you know, who was on the sidelines, by the way. Would old Belichick ever have let that happen? Absolutely not. Like, the man just seems distracted. He seems like the team, obviously, I don't know, man. I just think this is going to be a clown show for a while. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is a wild overreaction and I'm letting my feelings get to me here a little bit about the man himself, but I just don't see how this gets better for Belichick. I just don't.
I agree. There were for about 4 minutes, maybe the entire stadium was on fire, excited about the Belichick
people
era.
were anointing him.
Era.
Yeah.
Until TCU did nothing but drop dimes on them. And the announcers were saying it's been 2 hours and something since Lopez has completed a pass.
That's insane.
So bad. It was so bad. And then Max Johnson comes in, quarterback Max Johnson comes in, leads them down to a quick touchdown. You know, the wide receiver fumbles the ball later, but he was leading them on another drive, not his fault. So now not only do they have a drama with everything else, now they have a quarterback battle because their starter that they picked to start was awful. And after he got out of the 3 scripted plays, he was terrible. And so then they have a quarterback battle now too. So I'm sorry. Yeah.
Again,
like you said, don't follow Mac.
Yeah. Don't be the man to follow the man, right? Like, it didn't work out. I got to give Robert Barron credit for that.
Mac Brown didn't do amazing things at North Carolina, but he is an incredible coach who has won a national championship. So,
and a beloved coach too, right? Like, his team's
beloved. Yes.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
We'll wrap up. We'll finish looking back at week 1 with this moment, Megan. The Oregon Duck lost his head. The sacred protect your identity. It's because those big quack feet, like, I don't know, has he never tried running in the quack feet?
I'm sure he has.
He trips over his own feet and his head goes
There were stairs
flying
out
off.
there. They left stairs. It wasn't his feet he tripped over. But again, for me, I hate it. I absolutely hate it because I know
for him.
I hate it. Like, it makes me uncomfortable
His
because, like,
parents are paying $70,000 a year for him to run around in that duck suit.
I get it, but being a mascot somewhere is sacred. That's a big deal. And like, having that happen, that's not his fault. And my heart broke. Like, I hated it for that kid because he could potentially lose being the mascot. That's a big deal, right? Like,
they spend forever auditioning, trying to be part of the crew that gets to take
it's a big deal to be Hookem. Like, it's a big secret, right? Sparty. I mean, at Michigan State, like, I think we've talked about this on the show before. I think one of the cool things they do, you don't know who Sparty is. Nobody knows who Sparty is until they graduate. And then you get to wear the Sparty feet and hands as you walk the stage. Like, that's a cool thing. Like, it's
cool.
So for me, I don't know, man, I just identify like how special that is, how secret that is, how important it is to stay secret. And it just kills me that, like, no, he might have just lost that. But again, maybe I'm getting old. I'm sure 20-year-old Megan would have been laughing her ass off at that, right?
Like me, like, poor Arch. No.
Yeah.
All right. So Doug says, later rival girls, hope all is well tonight. Yes, all
Dougie
good.
B.
All good, Dougie B. We're here. All right, so let's go ahead. That was a good first weekend one. I know we had week 0, but weekend 1. So let's go ahead and look ahead for this weekend's college football. So last weekend we had football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday because NFL was off, cutting everybody from their roster, right? Cutting down their rosters to 53. This weekend, there are NFL games. We'll get to those briefly in a moment, but college football is Friday and Saturday. Well, FBS is Friday and Saturday. So couple of quick thoughts. Saturday morning, the game while Texas is playing, you have Iowa at Iowa State. That's pretty much a pick'em game because Iowa State's only favored by 3 at home. Baylor going to SMU. Even though Baylor, I thought they would be better, were not good against Auburn at home.
Dave Aranda is a crazy person.
But they are only 2.5-point dogs at SMU.
Take that. Bet SMU. Dave Aranda is a crazy person.
Okay,
I don't think his teams follow him. I think his teams are kind of getting to the point like, man, you're not winning enough to be this insane. I said this earlier. He's got all of the insanity of a cult leader with none of the charisma. Like, the man, I don't know, man. I'm going on feeling here, but I think SMU takes this one at home.
Okay, well, for some reason, SMU is only favored by 2.5 at home. So if this were at Baylor would be favored. That's interesting because SMU is ranked 17. So just be aware while Texas is playing, that's happening. Also, while Texas is playing, Utah State comes to Aggies. Aggies moved up to number 19. They are 31-point favorites at home against Utah State. Let's see if they can stop the run this weekend. All right. And then afternoon games, just to think about, Oklahoma State looked terrible at home against a crappy team. They have to go to number 6, Oregon. I thought that was actually pretty interesting. What a mixed match. Or Oklahoma State and Oregon. That's
props to them for picking up that game.
For scheduling that.
But I don't think this is going to go how Oklahoma State wants it to
Oregon
go.
are 30-point favorites, 29.5 at home. That's on CBS. In the afternoon, we have the first of the SEC conference games already happening. Number 20, Ole Miss goes to Kentucky. Miss 9.5 favorites. And this is one that's fun because our family friends, the Finkleys, Kansas to Missouri, that big rivalry is happening. What do they call that?
Huge rivalry.
Huge rivalry. What do they call that game? There's a name for it.
Is it the Border War or something? Yeah, CB.
Kansas at Missouri. Missouri, I was shocked to see her 6.5-point favorites. As hot as Kansas has been blowing up their offense, this is upset city.
That's another one for me. I'm on the fence about this one. If this was in Lawrence, I'd probably be taking the Jayhawks, but I don't know. Missouri.
I'm calling the upset. Daniels has been on fire. Kansas's defense has been incredible. I'm going to say Kansas goes into Missouri and upsets Missouri.
I tend to lean that way. Yeah, I tend to lean that way too.
Yeah.
Whew, it's gonna be a tough one though. It's gonna be a fun game.
A little Texas action. Texas State goes to UTSA. UTSA almost 4.5, well, almost 5-point favorites, and that they play their games at the Alamo Bowl. So it's like pretty much San Antonio versus San Antonio North are playing each other. That's good.
Well, see, that's going to be a fun game, though.
I'm going to record that and watch it because by the time we get home, I want to start that game from the beginning. Texas State for UTSA. That's like a good little match right there. All right. So South Florida, Florida in the afternoon. Also, keep an eye. Go ahead and record that because we have Florida in a couple of weeks. Let's see what they got because they're about to get into a couple of good games. This is one you wanted to talk about, Megan. Michigan, number 15, Michigan goes to 18, Oklahoma. That is a good game. And Oklahoma, 5.5-point favorites. That number surprised me. What do you think about that?
That number surprised me too. This is one of those games that I have been floundering on. Ask me at any given time in the day, and I'm going to give you a different answer on who I think wins.
Okay.
I don't think OU is the team everyone thinks they are. I am not convinced that they, again.
Chocolatier looked good week 1. All right.
He looked good.
All right. He looked all right.
He looked good. He looked good. But I am still not convinced. Again, we're talking about head coaches. We're talking about what's going on with the program. Those little things matter. I don't care if people say they do or don't. Those little things matter. And I have said this from day one. Venables is an incredible DC. I don't think he's got what it takes to be the CEO kind of head coach that you got to be at OU. And quietly, that seat is getting hot. OU had a bad year last year. Now, will they be improved this year? Yeah, probably. But you know what? So will Michigan. Michigan had a rough season last season. They are a better football team than they were last year. This is one of those, like I said, I think
it's going to be a good game. 6:30 p.m. on ABC.
I think the advantage here, and that's a college game day game, right? Like,
good point. Game day is going to Oklahoma.
Yeah, so I think the advantage here is probably going to be OU because they are at home. But I will also say this: I don't know that Norman is the most intimidating place to play ever.
Not at all.
It's just not. So, especially Michigan is used to playing in the shoe. They're used to playing in these big games. They're used to playing. I don't know. Like I said, I go back and forth on this one. I think I'm going to take Michigan in this game. If you ask me tomorrow, I might give the slight edge to OU here. But just everything that I'm seeing with OU, Nagy trying to be a GM, you have your AD announcing your depth chart. Yeah, I don't know, man. It doesn't feel like a program that's really got their collective poo together right now. So I'm going to take Michigan in this one. But I reserve the right to be very wrong about it. So, Rocky, who do you have in this one? This is an intriguing matchup to me.
I like that you're saying they can go back and forth. And to me, this is going to determine the determining factor is going to be the weather to me. So I'm looking at the 5-day forecast, the 10-day forecast in Norman, Oklahoma. And on Saturday, it's only going to be 75 degrees and cloudy.
Yeah, that's not going to affect.
That doesn't help Oklahoma at all. If ever they needed a day for it to be 99 degrees and sunny, would be this Saturday when Michigan comes to town. So the weather doesn't even help them. So that's, yeah. All right. Miracle Martinez, go blue, beat OU. Nice. I don't even know like who on Michigan is even allowed to be on the sidelines, who's punished. What coach is allowed to be there? Like this is game day's coming because this is the week where I scrolled through all the games this weekend. Everyone is playing cupcakes or unranked teams of all the top teams. This, I think, is the only matchup of 2 ranked teams. So good job. This is where game day should go. It's the most important game. I'm just going to say it. I don't know. What material do we really get. It's hard to tell what material. It's hard to tell what teams you really have when they didn't play anybody week 1. OU could have dominated more at home last week, but it was week 1. You're going to see the biggest jump and improvement from week 1 to week 2. If I had to pick a winner, I would take the home team in this one. I would go with Oklahoma at home because they're the home team. And other than that, it's a pick 'em game because we still don't know what either team is. Right. Sure. At this point, Michigan does always come with the dominating D-line. OU is still flipping injured offensive linemen. So that could be a key thing to look for in that game. All right, so moving on. 12 Arizona State goes to Mississippi State. I thought that was kind of interesting because Arizona State's a fun, exciting team to watch. We saw them go toe to toe with Texas. They're going into the SEC country. They're favored by almost a touchdown on the road.
They should be. Mississippi State is not a very good football program. Yeah. Look,
go ahead.
If I'm being honest, I'm surprised that it's only about a touchdown. I don't.
Maybe
it's
on the road. I don't know.
Arizona State's a better team than Mississippi State right now, I think. And again, I like the Bulldogs, man. I want them to be good, but at the end of the day, I just haven't seen anything that makes me go, yeah, they got their stuff together.
Did you see them practicing with cowbells? They literally had like
4 cowbells.
Yeah. They literally had athletic trainer people ringing cowbells out down on the field while the players are practicing. You can pump that music in. You don't have people doing this for 3 hours.
That's what I'm saying. And not just that, 4 people is not going to make a difference for the cowbells. The beauty of the cowbells is when there's 40,000
people. It's an Arizona State education, so
right, just like, hey, we've got 2 bells. Look at us. This is crowd noise, isn't it? Yeah, like. Good job, guys.
Interesting game only because the spread is 1.5. Vanderbilt at Virginia Tech. I just had to throw that out there because we have Vanderbilt with all the everything about Vanderbilt, and then they're going to Virginia Tech.
Pavia takes this one.
Do you think Diego Pavia goes to Virginia Tech and wins?
Anchor down.
Okay, well, Vatech's only 1.5 point favorites at home. I just thought that was interesting because it's pretty much a pick 'em game. Alabama gets to bounce back from their embarrassing loss to FSU with Louisiana Monroe. Upset City? No. Alabama's favored by 36.5, the same as Texas. All right, so let's move on to last note. Sam Houston State gets to go to Hawaii this weekend.
All right, so enjoy that trip. Enjoy that trip
to Hawaii. Hawaii are touchdown favorites at home. They have a kicker who learned to kick on YouTube, who won them their first game against Stanford last week. Did you see that?
That's cool.
Was he from Japan? I want to say he was from Japan. Forgive me if that's the wrong country, but I feel like he's from another country and he learned American football and how to kick on YouTube. And then he went and walked onto the Hawaii team and won them their first game, kicking off the winner against Stanford.
So he's like Hawaii's version of Nate Boyer, who taught himself how to long snap in Afghanistan.
Thank you. I was right. Japan. Good. Thank you, Matt, for listening. Yes, it was Japan. He's from Japan, and he learned to kick on YouTube and won the game against Stanford.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going to call, like I said, I'm going to call him the Hawaiian or the Japanese, I guess, Nate Boyer, right?
Amazing. He learned on YouTube how to kick.
Love it.
All right, let's talk Texas football again. We have weekend 2. We looked ahead at big picture college football. Let's look at our Texas Longhorns. Game day is back at DKR. We know for the next 3 weekends, Texas is at DKR 11 a.m. Sold out game. Megan, are you excited to be back to tailgating in DKR?
Yeah. Look, I love my home away from home, so it'll be good to see everybody again. Good to get the party going at home again. Not sure how I feel about it being, every game in September and 0 games in October. Wish we could have spread that out a little bit, but we start a long stretch here of some hot games at DKR.
It's not going to be that bad this weekend. Only like 80 something.
Until you sit in the stands and the Texas sun is
fine. I'm not the one running on the field, so I'm fine. Texas 36.5 point favorites. 98.8% chance of winning this game. Over under 52.5 as of today. What are you expecting to see from the Longhorns on Saturday against Sam Houston State? San Jose State, not Sam Houston State. They're in Hawaii. San Jose State.
I think Texas, this is going to be a tune-up game for Texas. I think that Ohio State game definitely put some questions in, like we talked about earlier in the program. There's a lot of things to fix, a lot of things to fine-tune. Most of it if not all of it, seems very fixable. And I think San Jose State is going to be a team, no disrespect to them, but I think just body size, talent wise, like Texas outmatches this team on every level. So I think we're going to see some opportunities for Arch Manning to kind of get his swagger back a little bit, maybe kind of figure out those mechanics, work through some things, make sure that he's checking down, doing the right things. Rocky, what do you think? Is this a tune-up game for Texas? What do you think we see from Sark? Does he change the playbook? Do we start vanilla? Do we get crazy? What do you anticipate from Texas in this game?
All right, so let's look at our opponent, San Jose State. Throw heavy team, but also are they throw heavy because they started the game with 2 interceptions and down by 14 and they have to throw to catch up? That's what I was looking at earlier. So their quarterback, his name is Walker Eggett. Just fine, about 55-60% passing already, and he threw for 2 touchdowns but 2 interceptions. So I feel like in this game, yes, they put up a lot of passing yards early, but they were playing catch up in that game too. I'm kind of thinking this is a game where we saw if Texas can run the ball the way they did last week with Baxter and Wisner on the road like that. I think they probably feel pretty good about what they have in the running game. And the big area of concern coming out of the game last week was the connection with those wide receivers and getting the tight ends more involved. We saw Endries make an incredible NFL level play, but it was so late in the game.
That's a good point. We didn't talk about him enough. Endries had a really
quietly
good
so much
game.
To talk about. And then when we saw Endries, we're like, holy moly, this man is amazing. And we wish we had gotten him involved earlier, right, in the game, found a way to get him involved earlier. So I think this is going to be a game where Texas really tries to, Coach Sark and the offense, as far as offensively, Coach Sark really tries to get the passing game going. Commit to the run. Don't throw away everything that they normally do. Still use the run to set up the pass and give. But maybe we see more Jarrett Gibson. Maybe we see more of, Christian Clark or, the young ones coming in. Maybe we see more of them. But I think because the passing and the timing and the confidence of Arch's timing with the receivers, we didn't get to establish that in the first game. I think you're going to see more of that. Sark mentioned Texas had gone 24 games in a row forcing some kind of turnover. Until last Saturday, that streak is gone also. So this team turns the ball over, right? This team fumbles the ball, throws interceptions. The opportunities are there to force turnovers. So I think this is a great time for the defense's strategy to go ahead and bring that pressure that we didn't see enough of last weekend. Ohio State did a great job of scheming away from it, but this is a team where you can practice bringing the pressure, get the younger guys reps, throw in the younger guys. Like, I think there's an opportunity to force turnovers and get more confidence in the passing game. That's what I think this is a great opportunity to do, but not abandon the run, still commit to the run game, maybe more play action. Cause I thought they established the run enough to have some play action and we didn't see enough of it. So maybe those kind of things, play action, downfield passing, and forcing some turnovers.
Yeah. I definitely think so. I want to start off by saying San Jose State is a team that throws. That's just kind of their identity. It wasn't just last week. Like, this is just a team that likes to.
Well, their coach used to not be. Their coach used to be run heavy.
It's just something that they do. So I think,
right, they evolve.
Right. I think this is something that we're going to see them try to long bomb it, and not for nothing, but they will be behind in this game. So I think that is something that we are going to see lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just is what it is. Right. So I do think what I'd like to see from Texas is, again, work on those fundamentals, work on those mechanics. I'd like to see Arch go through the progressions a little bit better. Right. I'd like to see him see the field a little bit better. I'd like to see him take some of those mid shots a little bit more than he did. Not the dump passes, not the, the long bombs. Give me those slant routes. Give me those kind of mid 10, maybe 15 yards. I want to see us get smart with that, get that together, start with some of those crossing patterns, get a little bit of that mixture and that confusion going on for Texas, confusing those defenses, get some confidence there. And then hell yeah, I'd love to see some long shots from Arch because we know he can throw the ball. There were a few passes at Ohio State. He had the touch. The touchdown pass was a beautiful pass. So I'd like to see him build that confidence back up a little bit. With some of those mid, not just dumping it off, like get some solid throws, know that you get your mechanics down, throw overarm, stop with this sidearm thing, right? Stop rocketing it or skipping rocks. So I think that is something that we see a little bit vanilla coming out from Texas. I don't think necessarily this is a game that Texas opens up the playbook because they don't have to, right? Why give anything away? So for Texas fans complaining about seeing vanilla, if you thought last week's offense was vanilla, I think there were reasons for that. Again, if your guys aren't connecting, it's hard to get a little crazy, but don't expect a bunch of crazy shit in this game either. I think maybe we see one or two fancy plays, like maybe a trick play, maybe a couple things as the game goes on a little bit, but I still think this is going to be pretty vanilla, basic, get those basics down, get that confidence back, start making those connections again. I think we see Texas, build on this game. Defensively, Rocky, I wanted to say, how do you think, we've talked about it. We think the defense is in a solid place. Is this a tough game for San Jose State? Do they have any opportunities to score on Texas? Is this going to be like a shutout kind of situation? What are you thinking?
No, this quarterback threw for over 300 yards last week, and they had a wide receiver. I love this name, Danny Scudero. He sounds like he's in the Grease movies. Danny Scudero. He dates Penny Chesterverdi. Like that sounds like his. I love that name, number 10, Danny Scudero. He had 9 receptions for almost 200 yards last weekend. Like number 2, where's number 10? Look for that receiver on the field on Saturday. I think this is a game where the shutout is not likely. They can put up points. They can put up, like last week, they drove down the field twice and missed 2 field goals with opportunity to win this game. So maybe keep them out of field goal range or give them a challenging field goal range. And that would help too, because their kicker does not look that good. So I would say the defense the DBs are going to get some practice, get the young ones out there, and more Grayson Littleton, some more Kobe Black, some of these younger ones that are going to get some opportunity against a pretty solid wide receiver who can put up some numbers. So that will be fun to watch. They don't have that much of a running game. They were at home against Central Michigan and struggled to run the ball. So one-dimensional, probably pretty early. Have the DBs can get a little run in. That's going to be fun to see. But I think they'll make some plays. I think they'll put up some points.
Yeah, again, I think this is a situation. We know we like to have those knee-jerk reactions. It is not the end of the world if San Jose State scores a touchdown or two. That is just the way this offense is built, right? But I did want to point something out. I heard this earlier, and I went and looked. I heard hints of this looking at size. I think it was on Inside Texas. And so I looked it up. I looked at some numbers. I'm going to point this out. So San Jose State's starting offensive line ranges, the lightest guy there is 278, and the heaviest guy is 295. This is not a big
linebacker size.
This is not, for reference.
They're so small.
For reference, our Texas D line ranges between 268 and 346.
I was going to say 340 something.
The 268 is Justice Terry. So
the
look,
freshman who's still going to put another 40 pounds of muscle on,
and is pure muscle right now. Yeah. So I want to say this, like, I definitely think the Texas D line gets to the quarterback. I definitely think they're breaking through. I don't see how San Jose State holds up to the size of Texas, much less the talent, right? I just don't see how they do that. They're a smaller offensive line. It's going to be a long day for them, right? So what I would like to see,
the sacks and the pressure this weekend is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think we're going to see it again. For the Texas O-line, I said this earlier in about the game at Ohio State. I thought the O-line looked, for the most part, pretty damn good. I think they answered a lot of questions. I think a lot of the issues that we saw with the breakdowns weren't necessarily on the O-line. Now, there were a few plays that certainly could have been better, a few plays that it could have been better. Matt Justiciary is 268 according to Texas's website today. So that's where
Maybe
he's
he's
at.
had a couple of Chipotle burritos, and
Yeah,
now,
maybe. Who knows?
or sometimes they put their weight with all their gear on too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Anyway,
ahead.
so yeah, I mean, I think that the O-line, again, for Texas, I want to see building on those blocks. Again, we've got a big O-line. Again, I just gave you the numbers for San Jose State. For our starting O-line, our smallest guy, we have two guys in Hudson and Baker that are 308. And they range all the way up.
Is 300
for our starters, yeah. And 308, and they range up to, and Connor Stroh's clocking in at 341. Again, this is according to Texas's roster. So again, there's a massive size differential there.
Well, they're in San Jose. They're eating avocado and toast. So
quite healthy, right? They're lean. They're
a
lean
little
and
more
mean.
Brisket and barbecue. Yeah,
they're lean and mean.
Cheeseburgers.
Yeah. So
they need more mac and cheese and brisket. Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think on both sides of the line, you're going to see Texas. They're just bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. So while I think San Jose State's going to take some shots, they're going to pull a few crazy things. They're going to try to long bomb it quite a few times. I do think they're going to put a few points on the board here. At the end of the day, Texas is going to be bigger, faster, stronger. And I do think. Go ahead.
Do you have a score prediction?
I don't know that I'm ready to make a score prediction, but I do think Texas covers the 36.5. I
have 55-13.
Yeah. All right.
55.
So Texas makes the 55. You will be happy with that. You will.
I'll be happy if we hit 8.
I'm just saying. All right.
My prediction is 55-13. They're going to move the ball. Actually, I don't know why I'm giving them 2 kicks. Let me give them 2 touchdowns before I give them 2 kicks, because their kicker missed 2 for the win last week. So I'm going to say 55-14. Or maybe, no, I'm going to stick with 55-13 because they missed the extra point.
Just keeping it down. Well, I think that's a fair prediction there. Again, like I said, I think Texas covers this, and the over under on this is 52.5. I think we see it over. So, yeah.
So we have over 350 people watching right now. So let's chat a little bit longer. Megan, do you have a couple more minutes?
Yeah, I got a couple more minutes.
All right. So NFL's back. We're going to just highlight Thursday night, Cowboys, Eagles. They're starting hot. Cowboys, Eagles, Chiefs, Chargers. We have lots of Longhorns in the NFL. There's a website called Our Lads, LADS, like our kids, ourlads.com. And you can find all the Longhorns, where they are, every team they're in. It's pretty cool. But Sunday afternoon, we're going to the volleyball, and after Titans at the Broncos, Lions at the Packers, and Texans at the Rams, all of the afternoon games. Ravens, Bills will be fun Sunday night. Vikings, Bears, Monday night, starting with a rivalry. So they're starting the weekend and ending the weekend with heated rivalries.
There's a ton of rival games this weekend. It's kind of crazy. So, yeah, my Lions will be. They ain't scared. Micah Parsons, too. It should be good.
Let's give a little love to Texas volleyball. So Madison, they were in Madison, Wisconsin, right? They were on our plane coming home from Chicago Sunday night. So when everyone remembers the Texas volleyball, like the student athletes, they are, a lot of them, unless you're on the commercial private NFL, they are flying commercial. Right. So we're on the plane, our delayed flight, delayed. We don't even take off till 11 something p.m. Sunday night from Chicago. And in comes the entire Texas volleyball players, staff, everybody. We all did not get to Austin till 1:30 in the morning. These are student athletes. And then they got to get to the bus and to the shuttle and get all their equipment and then get to the stadium or get back to campus. And then from there, go home, wherever home is. So these student athletes did not get home till 2:30 or 3 in the morning. Crazy, but they won. Yeah. They won big.
Yeah, they did. They went in, played Creighton and played Wisconsin and swept that tournament. Both of them are solid teams. Both of them ranked. Texas did well. They look good. I will say this, Rocky, like this team looks like, and right before we went on, I don't know if everybody else was watching, but right before Fire the Cannon went live, Texas went into Houston at Rice and started off a little slow, lost the first set, but swept after that, came out with a really decisive win at Rice. This team, Rocky, feels really, really good. Like this,
Really good.
we are early, we're knee-jerk reaction here, and it's a long season, but this volleyball team really answered a lot of the questions, filled a lot of gaps that they had last year. And
Mhm.
they are playing well together. They're playing as a unit. They're playing strong. This really feels like it could be another national championship team. They're going to be in the mix. Texas is going to be in the mix here. So
The
really
SEC
fun to watch them.
schedule was really tough on them. They were back-to-back national champions, a couple years ago, and then the SEC schedule was a grind. So they brought in Tori Stafford. We saw her; she led the first game against number 12 Creighton, and she's a junior transfer from Pitt. Fantastic, all honors at ACC. Fantastic player. She led the team to a strong win against Creighton, and then against Wisconsin on Sunday. We have the number 1 freshman in the country, Spears, who led the team on Sunday against their win. And she was fantastic again tonight. Stafford and Spears were both fantastic tonight against Rice. Again, like you said, slow start and then ran Rice out of their gym after that, 3 straight sets after that. So that was tonight at 6 p.m. The big game coming up is huge. So Texas right now is ranked number 2 in the country after their strong weekend. They host number 6 Stanford at the Moody Center noon. So this is one of those fun. Gregory Gym is one of the best environments for volleyball, but give them the big fancy space, right? The big Moody space, and make it something special for them. And so this Sunday at noon, it's sold out, but you can buy aftermarket tickets. You and I will be there at noon. Texas hosts Stanford at the Moody Center volleyball. That's going to be fun.
It is going to be wild. It'll be. I haven't seen a volleyball game at the Moody. I believe this is the first one.
Isn't this the first time they're doing it?
I know they've been talking about doing it. I believe this is the first one at the Moody. So yeah, that should be a lot of fun. Should be loud. Should be crazy. That environment's going to be a good time. So again, I mentioned this on Twitter earlier, y'all. If you aren't on that Texas volleyball fan train, what are you even doing with your life? It is a ton of fun to watch them. So tune into that for sure. And support
all right.
them.
So we'll just hit a couple of top stories before we wrap up tonight. Huge congrats to UTRGV, University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. We were there a couple years ago when they hosted Texas baseball. It was the biggest thing ever to happen to the RGV sports, Texas baseball coming to town. Until now, they have D1 football. They got beautiful new facilities. They have their stadium. They hosted their first game ever. 12,000 fans, almost 13,000 fans came to the game, and they won 66-0 UTRGV.
Is that good?
That's pretty good.
Feels pretty good.
The quarterback threw for 300. His name is Eddie Lee Marburger. Eddie Lee Marburger threw for 365 yards and 5 touchdowns. It was against Sul Ross State, but that doesn't matter. It was an amazing first game. The fans are all riled up. They have a hashtag Rally the Valley. How cute is that?
That's good. And look, that facility looked good. Again, for being a program that is just getting their very first football team, the facilities look nice, man. Like I don't know if you can pull them up or if you have it ready, but their training rooms look good. The locker rooms are good. Yeah. And the stadium was a good size. I mean, they had their fans there. It was good for them. Good to see.
Yeah, so their facilities, I'll show you these pictures. Their facilities kind of look like they have a new training center. So here's their training center. They have new what do you call these?
Room.
Yeah, the meeting rooms. Mm-hmm. They have a beautiful new weight room. They have gorgeous new locker rooms. They look kind of like the style Texas had. It's showing on the screen right before they changed them again. Beautiful, and really, like, they funded well. They put together great. If you go to UTRGV social media, they put together great, like, montages of the weekend and the game day and the tailgating and, you know, clips of the game. And they really are rallying up something good there, rallying the Valley. That's pretty cool. All right, Megan. So, and they have an okay schedule, UTRGV, but that's a good start for D1 football in the Valley. Fantastic. There's something that is close to your heart that we got to talk about. And this is standing at the games and the drama. Apparently there was some parents got in an argument at a game because they were the parents of players, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some people were standing and some people didn't want to stand. Here's the video.
And I asked him, when do we all sit down? And he said, when the people in front of him sit down. The people in front of him are down.
Just went in for the first time. We just wanted to see it.
I'm excited.
So the parents are arguing about who's standing, who's sitting. Why did you want to talk about this, Megan?
I just think that, look, I feel like this is a topic that I hear about every year. I have very strong opinions about it. I would love to hear from our listeners, from folks watching. Are you is this a people need to sit down during games in between? Are there appropriate times? Are you a stand? How do you feel about somebody asking you to sit down? Or how do you feel about standing all game? Rocky, I want to ask you first. You know I've got opinions on this. You know I have feelings on this. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's a case by case basis. If I'm in a section with people, like if the person behind me can't physically stand, and a lot of people cannot physically stand, maybe they can physically stand for a few minutes or in the important moments, but they cannot physically stand the whole game. That I'd be like, okay, you know, I don't want to block your view if they cannot physically stand. But there's some sections, student section, like there's just some sections where everyone stands and they cheer on their feet all day. But I think there's times where you just cannot. I don't know. I guess it just, if you're aware of the people around you, then you have to just 9 times out of 10, everyone should stand on their feet. But every now and then, the person behind you cannot stand. I don't know why these parents, if I'm a parent of the player, I can't sit. I'm trying not, I can't even sit. Like when my daughter, she doesn't play football, but she plays rugby and wrestles, and I can't sit. Like I'm on my feet. Like I don't know how you can sit, but there's some people who cannot physically sit. Every case is different. I'll just say that.
I think if you go to a football game or a live sporting event, you should be able to stand as much as you want. If you want to sit, watch it from home. I will say this. I do agree. Be situationally aware. I am a person that stands for 98% of the game. I'm just that person. I have too much nervous energy. I'm hyped. It's hard to be as excited, as hyped, as like loud and crazy when you're sitting. So I for sure am that person that stands all the time. Now, what I will do is if there is somebody new behind me, this is a great thing about DKR. Like our section has the same people. We've had the same people for a long time. But if I've got somebody new behind me, I tend to turn around and I'll say, hey, look, guys, like it's kind of my jams. I stand the whole time. If I'm in the way, just tap me. Let me know. Like I'll duck down. I'll squat. I'll kind of, I'll work out of your way, especially if you've got kids. I want you to be able to see. I want you to be able to have a good time. But like, I also am at the game to be hyped and excited. So while I think there are ways to be respectful about like to the people around you, I think it is absolutely crazy that people who are fully able, right, to fuss about somebody standing at a football game, especially if you're a parent of a kid. And again, I agree. Situational awareness, be kind, be courteous. Like you don't have to be an ass about it, but there are ways to say like, hey, I stand, but just let me know. I can duck, I can squish, I can move, right? I can squat, but I'm still going to be standing. I just do not understand the mentality. I've had people at games that are like, can you sit down? No, I can't. And if you're going to act like that, then I'm especially not going to. And like, if you want to come to a football game just to sit on your hands and, not clap and just kind of sit there and be quiet, then watch it at home, man. I'm here to be a part of the environment. I'm here to be a part of the game.
Yeah, I think that the players can hear you. I don't know. I'm torn. Like I said, it's case by case. If we're all on our feet, I'm going to cheer. Matt says stand for most of the first quarter and during really exciting play, but try to mostly sit down. CB says he remembers when it was a wine and cheese crowd at DKR. Absolutely. And they got mad if you stood.
And ain't nobody scared of that environment.
Throughout the game, follow the flow of the game. Hopefully everyone around you can stand or cheer if they want, but sometimes not everybody can stand.
I get that. But again, to me, that's where you have like the heads up at the beginning, because 9 times out of 10, people are like, oh, no worries. That's not a problem. Like I said, let me know. But the second that you start bitching at me because I'm standing and cheering, all bets are off. Like, yeah. I am not going to have
an away stadium. We're going to stand the whole time.
Exactly.
All right. A couple more things and we'll wrap up tonight. Megan, you're a big ice cream person. Bluebell.
I am.
Bluebell ice cream. I'm not I don't care for milk or milky things. So I don't really care for milk ice cream. Something good is baking. Bluebell ice cream, new flavors in store tomorrow. Was this today? So flavors coming tomorrow?
New flavors tomorrow. Yeah.
So what do you think the new flavor is that's going to be in stores tomorrow?
Looking at the color scheme, talking about baking, I've got to feel like it's not going to be pumpkin because they already have. Is it going to
be pumpkin pie?
They already have a pumpkin pie. That's not new. They already have that. So gross. It's awesome. You're the worst. Gross. So I think this is going to be either apple pie or pecan pie.
Look, my watch just says your tickets for Stanford, Texas are in your wallet now.
There you go. All right. But yeah, I think it's going to be apple pie or pumpkin pie, or not pumpkin, but pecan pie, because it's that time of year.
I would love pecan pie. Already in the ice cream?
Ooh, cinnamon bun. That's a good guess.
Cinnamon bun.
That's a good guess, Matt. Cinnamon bun. What do you guys think it's going to be? Like I said, it's baking, right? Yeah, cinnamon bun. That's a good like cinnamon.
CB doesn't have Bluebell. He has Tillamook. Tillamook is cheese.
Yeah. I don't want cheese ice cream.
Milk thing. Yeah, I don't want cheese ice cream. I have no idea what the flavor is going to be, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Dougie B says, give me pecan pie.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
I want real pecan pie. I don't need the ice cream. All right.
The ice cream would be awesome.
I just don't care for milky things. All right. And I'm not even lactose intolerant. I just don't want milky.
But you got like the whitest best friend in the world. So you kind of do. You can deal with
I like sherbets, like lime or pineapple or mango. All right. So here is the Fightin' Taters.
Is this not the most amazing
Idaho Vandals? Idaho Vandals are wearing helmets that say the Fightin' Taters this weekend.
I'm in. I think this is incredible. Listen again. This is where you can't touch football in this sense. Certainly not college football. You get some high school football in there too. I love crazy stuff like this. Like Texas doesn't have to be gimmicky, but you get this passion, you get this weird stuff. The Fightin' Taters, are you kidding me? That's incredible. I want to see. Is it okay, now let me ask you this. If you imagine that mascot, is it a potato or a tater tot?
I think it's a potato with like little hands and feet fight. Like little skinny arms with big fat gloves.
Yeah. So you think potato, not tater tot? I can see an amazing tater tot.
Potato.
It's Idaho. It's probably potato.
Idaho. I think of Idaho as full big potatoes. The Fightin' Taters is the potaters, not tater tots.
The potaters. I love it. Anyway, this helmet made me happy. I hope they win. It's incredible.
All right. CB knows about the bridal shower, the baby shower drink where you put lime sherbet with Sprite. That is the classic baby shower drink. And Dougie B says, don't dog pumpkin. Baskin Robbins put out pumpkin cheesecake and it's elite. I despise pumpkin almost as much as I despise guacamole / avocado. So there you go. Disgusting. Well, you don't like cilantro or tomatoes, so it's all good. Or mushrooms. All wonderful things. It's all right. Everyone has their own flavors.
All right.
Everyone has their own.
Man.
We went to last thing. We went to Torchy's today. My son and I went to Torchy's to mix it up today. Got their amazing Torchy's queso, but had to send it back because they put guacamole in it. Or like, I did not ask for baby poop in my queso.
You're killing me. This is the one thing we hang up on is our food opinions.
I know.
All right,
We paid
Rocky.
extra for it.
We appreciate
right.
everybody that has stayed late. Do you have anything else? Any other stories you want to go
No,
over?
we did more than enough. We stayed too long, but we wanted to make sure we talked about sit down, stand up, and the potatoes, the fighting taters.
Fighting taters. All right, y'all. For those of you that joined late, don't forget we do release the podcast version of what we just recorded tonight. So you can check that out on your favorite podcast platform. We will have that released either super late tonight or first thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning. We appreciate you guys. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. We are at Fire the Cannon and the #1 on Instagram and Twitter. We are on YouTube. You can always find us. You can find, if you want to watch the video, if that's your jams too, again, please like and subscribe. We are at Fire the Cannon podcast on YouTube. So as always, y'all, we are excited. We appreciate you being here. We're looking forward to Texas moving forward and moving past last week's game. Totally appreciate it. Dougie B, definitely come see us on Saturday. For now, absolutely. For now, I'm Megan.
I'm Rocky.
And we are Fire the Cannon. Hook 'em, y'all.